By the 1890s, the U.S. Navy had leapt into the top 5 powers, when manifest destiny was prevalent. After gobbling up land from coast to coast and tossing in Alaska like a cold dessert, the U.S. had a new craving: islands. You see, back in 1853, President Franklin Pierce offered Spain $130 million for Cuba. Spain said no. Fast forward to 1894, America passed a tariff that tanked Cuba's sugar economy, making locals very unsweet. Cuba rebelled, Spain cracked down. America saw a golden opportunity. Then came the USS Maine, sent to Havana to protect Americans. Boom! February 15, 1898, Maine exploded. Who did it? Who knows? But hey, it was enough. America declared war on Spain faster than you could say, "Remember the Maine." Surprise! First battle wasn't in the Caribbean. While Congress was still sipping coffee, Theodore Roosevelt, then just Assistant Secretary of the Navy, had already told Admiral George Dewey, "Yo, take your fleet from Hong Kong to Manila, blow things up." May 1st, Dewey steamrolls the Spanish fleet at Manila Bay. Spanish ships were outdated, rusty, and in one case, made of wood. America? An engineer who died of heat stroke. Meanwhile, in Cuba, things were heating up. Following the Marines, General Shafter landed with 17,000 troops, plus a weird little group called the Rough Riders, led by none other than Teddy Roosevelt himself. Fun fact, they were a cavalry without horses. Logistical mix-up, so Roosevelt was literally the only guy on a horse. But they still charged up San Juan Hill, which was actually 2 hills, and technically not just them. But hey, history loves a good poster boy. With Santiago nearly surrounded, the desperate Spanish Caribbean fleet made one last attempt to break out. It ended in what military experts call a floating disaster. 6 Spanish ships sunk. Spanish casualties, 400 plus. Americans, 2. Ouch. By July, Spanish surrendered. Then back in the Philippines, with some help from local rebels, U.S. forces stormed Manila. The Spanish Empire's tropical vacation was officially over. October, Spain signs the Treaty of Paris. They give up Cuba, the Philippines, Puerto Rico, and Guam. America gives them $20 million. Remember their initial offer for Cuba alone? And just like that, America had its first overseas territories and its very own Pacific Highway. Soon it would grab Hawaii too. Suddenly, the U.S. became a global power, with tropical accessories. Of course, this was no fairy tale. America would soon turn on Filipino rebels, launching a bloody occupation. In Cuba, it slapped on the Platt Amendment, basically turning it into a client state, and snagged a permanent lease on part of what would become the famous Guantanamo Bay. So that, folks, was the Spanish-American War. It was short, sharp, and depending who you ask. Either way, it was the moment Uncle Sam took his first overseas selfie. And spoiler alert, he was just getting started. See you next time.